I don't talk about movies or TV shows that often on my channel, even though they are foundational to my love of story. But from time to time, I find it incredibly important to talk about them, especially with the film Civil War by Alex Garland, because a lot of viewers, a lot of critics out there didn't seem to get it. So this video is a response to that. So if you're a writer, a reader, a viewer out there, someone who wants to look deeper, who appreciates storytelling, and might want to learn something from a master at his craft, this one's for you. So I guess we should start with expectations. We all have them before we consume a story. Images and words give us a vision, and we sit down with that vision top of mind, waiting for it to unfold before our eyes. Just like we expected. But it doesn't always work that way. I enjoy stories that surprise me, subvert my expectations, make me see through a new lens. Though I find most people don't share my perspective. Most people want exactly what they expect. The irony with expectations is that with this film, many critics subverted my expectations by being lazy, by not looking deeper, by not doing their jobs. Especially when they say things like, Civil War review, a torturous, overrated movie without a point. Or, Civil War, sound and fury signifying nothing. It makes me wonder how they can call themselves critics, how they can completely miss the point. Now, I don't blame them for their expectations. I had the same ones. A film about the United States entering civil war released during an election year begs to ask at least two questions. What brought the United States to civil war? And how in the hell did California and Texas form an alliance? Being from California myself, I get it. But Garland answered those questions. If you weren't able to decipher them from the film, maybe this will help.
To talk about it implicitly, then look at, as it were, the facts within a fiction context of what is being asserted. Fascist president, Texas and California joining together. We all know Texas and California have very different political positions. So clearly what they're doing is they are saying our political differences are less important, are less serious than the threat of a president who is undermining the Constitution, intimidating or threatening journalists, removing systems of law that might threaten them in the terms of the film, the FBI. They are saying our political differences are lesser than that problem.
See, it's not that complicated. He just didn't give the answers many wanted. Many wanted a black and white answer. Many wanted a red and blue answer. But that thing about Civil War saying nothing at all. Really? We open on a visibly distraught photojournalist staring blankly at a TV screen displaying a lens-blurred, smiling caricature of a president before she snaps a photo of him on that TV. We cut to the reflection of that TV on her hotel room window. A bomb goes off. The reflection trembles. Does this not show our exhaustion yet inability to look away from the empty figurehead that runs our country? We look on from the comfort of our homes while outside, reality reminds us it's still there. And despite the president's smiling face, we're rattled, shaken. We find two soldiers hunkered down outside a homestead, hiding among discarded decorations from a Christmas festival. Joel asks,
"Are you WF? Who's giving you orders?"
To which the soldier responds with,
"No one's giving us orders, man. Someone's trying to kill us. We are trying to kill them."
The encounter ends with a single shot, the soldier saying in a flat tone,
"I got good news."
Does this not show how we rarely know what we're fighting for, but we fight anyway? That the differences are what matter, not the issues we're allegedly defending. We travel to an idyllic town, seemingly unaffected by the war. And when Joel confronts the girl behind the counter at the clothing store,
"Are you guys aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America?"
she says.
"Oh, sure, but we just try to stay out."
Garland aimed this scene right at me. I don't care about politics. I don't watch the news. I choose to surround myself with more positive things. And I know I'm not alone. Many people go through their days ignoring what is going on around them, shuttled by the eddies in their own world. Ignorance is bliss, I guess. But Garland reminded me, and others like me, that you can't hide from a war that's right outside your window. We find what appears to be a soldier standing near a mass grave sporting red, yes, red, glasses asking,
"Okay, what kind of American are you?"
On the surface, it appears this is a commentary on racism in America. Just another ultra-nationalist with sunglasses the color of his politics, ready to shoot anyone who doesn't look like him. More on those sunglasses. Garland stated he only required Plemons to be in a military uniform. Plemons arrived at the fitting with those red sunglasses. Could his reading of the script have informed that decision? Possibly. But it doesn't matter. This scene is saying much more. If you pay attention, there are people with white skin in the mass grave. Plemons' character asks each photojournalist, including the white people, the same question. It's not about racism. It's about exploring tribalism, how we constantly seek to categorize ourselves, segregate ourselves, emphasize not by on-the-nose racist dialogue, but by the simple line,
What kind of American are you?
I could go on and on about the things Civil War is telling us, but I want to move on to my favorite aspect of creative writing, characterization. Maybe you've noticed how I keep saying our, how these things reflect us. That's because I believe Garland's Civil War is a mirror and not a lens. In interviews, he stated that he wanted the film's narrative to be captured objectively. But how do you do that through people who are, by definition, subjective? You defy our expectations. We expect characters to empathize with, characters who go on a journey, learn something about themselves or the world, succeed or fail. And this fiction stands to enrich our own lives, allowing us to go on a perilous quest or tragically fail without harming ourselves or anyone.
Because our four main characters are just as vague and poorly understood as the war itself. By the end of the movie, I felt like I didn't know any of them better than I did at the start. The script gives us almost no insight into their personalities, their worldviews, their backstories and past experiences. They're all just generic people, as empty and interchangeable as anyone else in the film, and it feels like such a wasted opportunity.
See? Expectations. The science fiction novel The Forever War by Joe Haldeman is about a man named William Mandela, who is a private in the military. It is told in first-person perspective, but we learn next to nothing about his internal struggles, flaws, and how he processes the world around him, nor how the plot serves to reveal those things. The novel has fantastic commentary about war, gender, sexuality, relationships, and economics. But every time these things confront Mandela, he's indifferent, unbothered, has little to say to reveal his character. Garland, like Haldeman, used characters to mirror us, the viewers, to experience the narrative without the warp of point of view. In fact, Garland spells it out for us multiple times. In the scene in which Jessie is explaining to Lee that she got her camera from her father, she adds,
"Don't worry, he's not dead. He's sitting on his farm in Missouri pretending like none of this is happening."
When Lee is prodded for her backstory beyond her Wikipedia page, as she calls it, she says this about her family.
Well, actually, they're on a farm, too. Oh. Except Colorado. Also, pretending this isn't happening.
This is Garland telling us he isn't employing traditional characterization. Why? Because traditional characterization is rooted in trauma. He's not using these characters to explore ideas through who they are and where they've come from. They are merely there to reflect us. But who are we? We are Lee, who sees an unfiltered reality through a digital camera, utilitarian, jaded, tired, troubled, running on fumes, and numb. We are Joel, who thrives on the action, the violence, the chaos.
This gunfire is getting extremely fucking hard.
It gets us hard too. We are Jesse, who sees reality through an artistic filter, black and white. Violence is muted, masked. No purples of intestines as they spill out through a gaping wound caused by blades or bullets. We are Sammy, who has been through it all, seen it all, limping through this world with the aid of a cane, advising caution, but no one listens, because he's old and almost forgotten. These characters are more than an evolutionary chart of a photojournalist's career, more than a timeline. They are us. We just didn't expect it. Garland reminds us 2 more times in the last scene when Lee rushes to push Jesse out of the way of gunfire. Lee is shot. And what does Jesse do? She takes photos as Lee falls to her death. She shows us what we want, what we truly care about. There is a brief moment in her eyes where her humanity flickers before she gets up to join her companions to reach the president. Walking down the hall, she hesitates one last time, almost revealing that she isn't an empty vessel, an objective observer, a mirror. Inevitably, she continues on. The final nail in the anti-characterization coffin is when Joel shouts at the soldiers to stop, to wait. And we think this is when he realizes that this is a helpless man, that human life has value no matter what someone has done, and he's going to stop the madness to emerge as a person.
I need a quote. Don't let him kill me.
Then he says,
Yeah, that'll do.
"You may be thinking to yourself that I'm completely wrong, that none of this was the intent of Alex Garland when he wrote the film. You may be right, but it doesn't matter. The beauty of fiction is that we can come away with our own interpretations regardless of authorial intent. And that just because our expectations aren't met doesn't mean something is poorly written. It just means we need to wipe the smudges off our lens and look again. And if you don't buy my reasoning, here it is from the man himself."
When somebody has an interpretation of a moment that is not my interpretation, I don't see it as being less valid than my interpretation.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.